I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
We have such sights to show you.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
I guess I was probably returning videotapes.
I am big. It's the picture that got small.
Who cares?
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Movie Roulette Tuesday podcast. This is Matt.
This is Rachel.
This is Carl.
What?
Well,
What's the problem?
Nothing. No, there is no problem.
Pause.
I was going to complain, and I think I will briefly.
Was that a pregnant pause?
It kind of was.
No one's pregnant.
Thank God.
No. Seasonal allergies.
Oh my
God. Worst right now. My car is green.
Our thing I wanted to talk about briefly. And we have the show every week, and there's always, something to talk about. But I can never remember things like this if we had already talked about them before. I'm sure I've brought this up in the past, but maybe I haven't. But I've never had allergies at all, ever, when I was growing up. And not even poison ivy. I wasn't allergic to it. I could touch it and nothing would happen. And then, as I get older, my body seems to be more susceptible to allergies. And
you've been exposed to more antigen over your lifetime.
Well, apparently I've been exposed to a lot when it comes to poison ivy, because I can get it if I look at it.
It gets worse and worse every time.
It does. And then now, around this time of year, it's like pollen central here. And it's also been like windy and rainy. So a lot of that pollen gets shaken out and then blown around everywhere. And it's all over cars. And I don't know if you can hear it in my throat. My throat will get dry. But my eyes suffer tremendously throughout this entire season. Like, they'll get itchy and runny and swelling. And now, over the past, I don't know, several years, but it's intermittent. But this year, anyway, the skin around my eyes, like my eyelids, and then my eye socket skin. I don't know what to call it.
Eye socket skin.
The skin around your eyes.
Yes.
That's generally thin and sensitive anyway. Gets all red.
You get dermatitis.
I do. And I look like I got punched in the face.
Yep.
A little bit. Or I rub the shit out of my eyes.
Or you're like a coal miner. Or like chimney sweep.
Or something happened. Like if I saw me walking down the street or in the office at work.
Oh my God, what happened to you?
What does the other guy look like?
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
What happened to you? Are you okay?
And it's so frustrating because there isn't much I can do about it. And, I take, now, you take the Zyrtec, you take antihistamine eye drops, and you wash your face with, sensitive soap and put, I don't know, moisturizer, tallow, whatever around it, and that kind of mitigates it. But man, it's the worst.
Well, listen, I grew up with terrible allergies.
I know.
Terrible, 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 to the point where I was so allergic to tree pollen that if I ate raw fruit that grew with tree pollen in it, my throat would swell up. And I ended up going to get allergy shots, and I did it for years. And now guess what? I am like allergy free. I can walk around outside. I can eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
It's very, very, if I touch pollen and rub my eyes, yes, my eyes will get itchy.
Sure.
But that's about it. I mean, it used to be bad.
Yeah.
So you could always go get allergy shots.
No.
It works.
I don't know. I mean, our daughter did the drops for a while and then stopped.
But has resumed them.
And has resumed them. But
they work.
They helped her.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know. If there's
maybe
just
next year.
Something brief I could do for my eyes just to mitigate it, during this high pollen season, that would be amazing.
Well, if anyone has any suggestions, text them along to Matt.
Yeah.
He needs help.
Please, that would be great. But anyway, that's enough complaining for me. Carl, do you have allergies at all? To anything?
When I was growing up, I did shots
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you did. That's right. You did them too.
And because I was allergic to like weird, like I had a lot of like cheese and tomatoes.
Weird.
Which I'm Italian,
Ooh,
so
that's
without
terrible.
cheese and tomatoes, like
Yeah.
that's like two sections of the Italian food pyramid.
Yeah.
But I was also allergic to grass, which got me out of mowing the lawn when I was a child, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But then once I was old enough where I could drive myself to get the allergy shots,
You stopped.
I stopped. And other than, I mean, I get seasonal stuff. I don't get eye issues, but I definitely get the clearing my throat, like just general irritation in my throat, which was great during the pandemic.
Because everyone's like, oh, you have COVID.
Because I would be coughing and I'm waiting for somebody to throw a plastic bag over my head and drag me out.
Just allergies.
But no, other than just minor seasonal allergies, I'm all right.
That's good.
Yours is getting worse.
It is.
Like next year, if it continues to get worse, you're going to the allergist.
Yeah.
You are. It'll be good.
Get your little scratch test.
Yeah. See what you're allergic to, and then
pollen, obviously.
Well, obviously, but you know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't want to dwell on this too much, but I had to complain about it.
You have to let that out.
A little bit.
That's how you're feeling
That's
right
what's
now.
grinding his gears.
Yeah, it is.
It is, because it affects your whole day.
Oh, I know.
And you're just uncomfortable.
You are. And, and you know, my eyes get irritated enough because I'm staring at a screen all day for, you know, what I do. And then when the skin around your eyes is all itchy. And anyway, whatever. It's not your concern.
You just made it everybody's concern.
No, I know.
You just had to let it go into the universe. That's okay. All right, let it go.
Vent a little bit of the steam.
And now?
Off. But now, anyway, we have a new theme.
We do.
Yeah. We've started this theme cycle of the long journey. The long journey. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
All right.
I love the Beatles. I fucking hate that song.
I know you hate that song.
I can appreciate it, but I don't want to hear it at all. Paul McCartney can go play the piano, and that's great, and whatever.
All right, okay. You're a little agitated today.
It's my eyes.
I know it's your eyes.
So the long journey, where this is movies where the characters undergo an extensive journey, whether literal or figurative, leading to self-discovery or transformation, which covers a wide swath of modern cinema.
Yeah.
You know, we all like the story of the long journey, the transformative experience.
The hero's journey. It's a
it really
recurring theme.
Right?
Yes, it really is. My constraint, shakeup, was unlikely heroes. So that would be movies featuring protagonists who aren't traditional heroes, like anti-heroes, or ordinary people thrown into extraordinary circumstances.
Jukebox heroes?
Could be. That is an unlikely hero. You don't hear about jukebox heroes very often.
Only when foreigners sing.
Only when sung by foreigners. Yeah, so combined, that is a pretty open, you know, loose field.
It's like Close Encounters.
To pick from. It is like
you can make it work.
It is like Close Encounters. And I didn't want to have like what I had the last time with The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, where I really had nothing to talk about because it was so broad. So I decided to talk a little bit about the theme itself, about the idea of the long journey, and why that is such a broadly used device for storytelling, movie making, etc. But an extensive journey, just like in the description of the theme, it can be literal or a figurative type thing. And you can also have protagonists who are on these surreal, transformative journeys, which can be psychological or spiritual. And that can happen at the same time as they're going on a literal, long journey. There are a lot of different films that cover that. The one that jumps immediately to mind is, the Lord of the Rings.
That's what I wanted you to pick.
Trilogy. Yeah, but you can't pick just one. And
I guess not.
Well, I couldn't.
The Hobbit? You could have done The Hobbit.
Pick just one. Well. See, we'll see in a minute how my pick kind of fills that role of the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
A little bit. And I guess, Lord of the Rings would fit the unlikely heroes as well. You've got Frodo. And,
you've got hobbits.
Yes, hobbits in general.
Hobbits who are not true, what you would think of as heroic.
Well, and they went through both an actual physical journey to Mordor, but then they also went through a transformative journey where they went from meek and to worldly and heroic.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it definitely changed them for sure. So, if we're looking at the appeal of journey narratives, so the device is appealing to people, generally speaking, because it mirrors human growth and struggle. You have these external conflicts like dangerous travels, but combining that with internal change where you're overcoming things like fear or whatever. And it's versatile across genres, and it can offer a cathartic experience, seeing someone else going through it, or it can be inspirational as well. You see that someone else can go through something and grow from it and come out unscathed fairly on the other side, that it might be motivation for you to do the same. And then throwing in the unlikely hero aspect, we like to see...
Excuse me.
Classical heroes, where...
Odysseus!
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that comes to mind for me, too.
I love the Odyssey.
I do, too.
I love that story. I'm really nervous about Christopher Nolan's version.
Yeah, I think
I'm real nervous.
I think it's going to be bad.
I don't know. I don't want to say that.
But I think these unlikely heroes where, they're like an anti-hero or they're flawed in some way or they're just ordinary.
Dorothy Gale is an unlikely hero. She's just a girl from Kansas.
Exactly. And, it's a ordinary person doing extraordinary things.
Yep.
But those struggles, resonate more with audiences because it's easier to see yourself in that role where you have a character with imperfections, just like everybody else.
That's what made the Twilight novels so popular, because the woman made the girl so incredibly blah and boring. No, really, that people could read into it and be like, that could be me. I could be that. I'm, because that person is just average.
Yeah. I mean, she wasn't really... I'm not talking about Twilight.
I almost roped you in there.
No, I've never read the books. We did watch the movies.
We watched the movies.
Wow, all of them?
Yeah, we did. We had like a Twilight marathon.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we did.
It was great. We were kind of half serious and then half MST3K, like roasting it. It was great. I enjoyed it.
And I have to say, I don't really have a preference between like a classic hero and an anti-hero.
I like both.
I do. I enjoy both. It's interesting to see a story be told from either perspective. I think that's part of the reason why I got superhero fatigue real fast, because some of them might have flaws. Like Batman is
Batman's a man. He has no superpowers.
Exactly, but that's why it's more relatable as opposed to, all right, well, this part, like, obviously they're not going to die. They're not going to, or if they die, they're just going to bring them back. So to me, that can get boring. But having a more ordinary person go through these struggles, I think, makes for a better story.
Sure.
And then we have the transformation, the role of transformation in the story, and how that enhances what we're learning. We don't want to just see someone go through and come out the other side unchanged. We want to know what sort of lasting effects these trials and tribulations
this journey has caused.
But anyway, that aligns with the whole self-discovery aspect of these stories, especially for flawed protagonists. And that brings up an interesting consideration. It's, like, what's more compelling, unlike the classical hero versus, an anti-hero type. What's more compelling, a hero who triumphs through change or one that accepts defeat, because you can go through those things and come out changed, whether you're defeated or triumphant. And can a journey matter without transformation?
Oh.
I mean, think about the first Rocky.
Yeah.
He didn't win that fight, but it was about the journey and getting to the point that he could fight the champ.
Yeah.
And the dedication.
And go the whole match.
So he did win in a sense, right?
Well, I think to Carl's point is that that is a perfect example of where you have someone who's successful in their journey but ultimately fails.
Right.
At the end, but is still triumphant
in their own story.
In their own story, in their own transformation, in their own change. And they come out better for it.
Right.
Even though they ultimately
and you still
failed.
feel good for them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, no, that's a really good example.
That is a good example. Nice job.
Of that. Then what the hell else do I have here? I have like charts and shit.
You have a lot. There's a grid with lots of text.
Is that a Rorschach test?
Right?
What
am I? That's making me feel nervous.
I tried to assemble things into something that would be easily talked through. I think a column I could remove here. Anyway, and then there's a literal versus figurative journey. Again, I think combining them is compelling, but.
I enjoy literal stories. Were you going to strange places and doing things?
Or even like a movie like Stand By Me. That's a journey. And they grow and they.
Yeah.
But that's not a literal journey.
Yeah, it is.
Sure it is. Oh, no, that's a literal journey. Yeah.
Where do they go?
They're going to see the dead body.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. I was thinking
the whole movie's the journey.
You're right.
They're
Okay.
walking the whole time.
Fine.
Yeah.
You're right. Never mind. It is a journey. I take it all back.
It is, but there are a lot of other examples of these transformative journeys.
The Goonies. They go on a journey.
I guess. I mean, yeah, you can throw anything in there and have it.
No, you can't throw anything in there.
And have it work.
They go on a journey.
Yeah, but there are other films where it's more like a spiritual journey that's transformative.
A spiritual journey.
Oh my gosh.
I can't think of one right now.
I had a bunch of examples. See, this is the problem. Like last night and this morning, I had a bunch of good examples, and then I don't write any of that.
But you have a whole grid.
Down. Exactly. I have all this information in front of me, and then I didn't add.
Too bad.
The film examples I had, like Holy Mountain, was one. Where that is like a total transformative.
You're getting into Jodorowsky
journey. Yeah, well, but you saw it.
I did?
I think.
What is it about?
We don't have enough time for that.
Okay, I'll look it up later.
But that is a figurative journey of transformation and emotional growth.
Like a peyote journey?
Sure,
like
yeah.
Take drugs and go out in the desert and lay there?
Kind
Trip
of.
balls.
Yeah, like a Jim Morrison.
See the world through a different
transformation
lens.
I don't know. What do I have here? Cultural relevance. Anyway, whatever.
Wow.
There are a lot of reasons why we like stories like this. It puts an ordinary person in extraordinary circumstances, and we get to see them grow and evolve, and maybe put ourselves in their shoes. So anyway. What did I pick? I picked a movie that's been on my list to watch for a while. I think I've mentioned it in the past. It's an A24 film, and I boiled things down to two choices, and obviously I couldn't pick both. So the one I held back was Enter the Void, which I've always wanted to see, but I figured I'd spare everyone from that. It is a visual overload.
Uh-oh.
And that is more of a figurative journey where, the main character ultimately dies and then like the story's told from a first-person perspective. Either you're right behind the character's head, or you're literally seeing through their eyes the whole time, including like blinking.
Oh.
So every once in a while, the screen will go black, just like if you were blinking.
Okay.
And I think the character dies of drug overdose.
Oops.
In Tokyo, and you kind of follow their soul as they're going through their life. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Like a flashback?
No, not a flashback. Again, I haven't seen it.
You're not sure. Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but it sounded really compelling, and I thought that would be a good fit. But I thought that it would be a good time to watch this film, and it is long, so I'm not going to talk for too much longer before we go watch it. But it's Beau Is Afraid. Beau Is Afraid. It is a 2023 American surrealist tragic comedy.
Okay.
Written and directed and co-produced by Ari Aster.
Oh, of
Hereditary.
Midsummer fame.
Yep. Yeah. Among other things. It stars Joaquin Phoenix.
Who I do enjoy.
As the title character.
Yeah.
And the supporting cast consists of Patty Lupon, Nathan Lane, Amy Ryan, Kylie Rogers, Parker Posey, Stephen McKinley Henderson, Haley Squires, Michael Gandolfini, Zoe Lister-Jones. I don't know who any of these people are. Armin Naha.
Stop.
Not going to work
Stop
here.
it.
Richard Kind. Anyway, the plot of the film, it follows a mild-mannered but paranoia-ridden Beau as he enters or embarks on a surreal odyssey to get home to his mother's funeral, realizing his greatest fears along the way. So it is a literal and figurative journey.
Okay.
Through an unlikely hero of an ordinary
mentally ill man,
paranoid, anxiety-ridden man. So yeah, it premiered at Alamo Drafthouse on April 1st of 2023, and it began its limited theatrical release in the U.S. on April 14th, and it went to a wider release the following week. As you might expect for a film like this, it was...
Is it polarizing?
Highly regarded by critics.
Yep.
But it bombed at the box office.
Yeah.
I think the budget was $35 million.
Okay.
And it grossed only $11 million.
Ouch.
And I think in total, they said it lost $35 million.
Huh.
Which is interesting. Joaquin Phoenix received a Golden Globe nomination for his performance. So it's generally, like I said, well regarded, but not something that had super broad appeal, apparently. Not that many people saw it. Ari Aster was working on the film for some time. He produced a short film in 2011, which was entitled Beau, and that served as the basis for a sequence in the feature film. And Aster has described the film in many ways. Initially as a nightmare comedy, a Jewish Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God.
Which is where
there you go, Rachel.
Oh my God. I don't need a Jewish Lord of the Rings.
Which I thought that was funny. And let's see. Oh, a Jewish Lord of the Rings, but Beau's just going to his mom's house. And another way to describe it is if you pumped a 10-year-old full of Zoloft and had him go get your groceries.
What? Okay.
So
we're in for a treat.
Chaos reigns.
We should be in for a treat.
Yeah.
And it when you're talking to Aster and some of the other people involved in the film, the cinematographer, when they talked about films that kind of influenced their approach to Beau Is Afraid, Rear Window came up as an inspiration. Okay. There's a film from 1967 called Playtime, which I hadn't heard of. And actually, Albert Brooks's "Defending Your Life"
Whoa
was inspired was inspiring as part of this film, and that was Carl's pick a while back.
Meryl Streep.
How can you forget?
I don't know. So the description of this movie is very brief. I understand it's a journey, a surreal journey that this guy takes to get to his mom's funeral. What is going to go on for 3 hours that is going to...
We're going to find out. We have to watch it.
She must live very far away, Rachel.
It's about the journey and him overcoming all of his fears.
Okay. I'm just saying.
And all the obstacles that stand in the way. Why was The Lord of the Rings 3 hours?
Well,
every single film.
Because it's amazing.
No, it ended up being amazing. But it didn't need to be 3 hours. Or did it?
Well, it did.
It had a lot to talk about.
It was based on a book.
And maybe this does too.
We'll see. That's what I'm...
But it's interesting. I love all these descriptions. It's saying, it has the exuberantly manic energy of punch-drunk love, the nightmare logic of Eraserhead, and other people have said the film also tries building to a profound conclusion, but it plays out like a much less interesting version of Pink Floyd The Wall. So
I don't know what to make of any of this. This just only makes it more chaotic.
Again, like every A24 movie, they might not always be winners, but you can never say they don't make interesting choices with the movies that they put out.
It's true.
Yeah. It was also A24's largest budgeted film to date until they did Civil War, which became their
which also I don't think did very well.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that one. And I actually didn't know A24 did Civil War.
I knew that.
Until I read it recently. The film's score was produced by Catherine Miller and composed by British electronic musician Bobby Krullick. I know I'm not saying his name right. But he performs under the Haxon Cloak, who I am familiar with. And if you like weird, dark, ambient, bass-heavy...
Ominous tones
for sure. Definitely check out the Haxon Cloak. He only has 2 full albums.
How do you spell that?
And the one with the noose on it. I can't remember the name of it, but that's the one that I prefer. How do you spell what?
Haxon.
Haxan.
Oh, that's not how I pictured it in my... No, it's not. It could have been Hackson. That's how I thought about it.
Yeah.
Haxon.
No, you'll find it under the Haxon Cloak, Haxan. So the score here is supposed to be representative of Beau's mental state at each step through the film. And I'm anxious to hear that because of, what I've heard before from the Haxon Cloak. It should be interesting to see how he interprets these different mental states and things.
Okay.
So, like I said earlier, the film touches on both the literal journey and the figurative journey. He is trying to attend his mother's funeral after her sudden death. He goes on this journey, which takes him from his dystopian urban apartment through a series of bizarre settings, which I won't talk about yet because I want to actually see the film. In the figurative journey, obviously you have someone who's plagued with anxiety, paranoia, and guilt as they have to be forced to leave, the safe place of their home and thrust out into the world, into these unknown circumstances. He's going to be confronted by things and have to deal with them and grow and whatnot. Have some moments of self-discovery. He's obviously an unlikely hero. I mean, he fits that bill. And I don't know. There's all kinds of other things I could say here, but I think it's a strong fit for the theme and the constraint. And it looks really visually appealing to me. having seen the preview or trailer rather multiple times, I don't know. There's just a draw there.
It looks bizarre. I remember from the trailers.
It does. It looks completely bizarre, and you have this kind of weird dreamlike storytelling, which I really enjoy. But the length does put me off a little bit. I feel like if it's done very well, then time kind of goes away and you're immersed in the story and you're experiencing it and enjoying it. The other thing is that sometimes that can go the other way and it feels like you're stuck.
It never ends.
It never ends, or it's just a celebration of self-indulgence.
Yeah.
It's like, where are we going here? So that's my fear.
Mine too. I share that as well. I do.
But let's go.
But we never know.
Let's check it out.
But yeah.
This is a movie. This is definitely an MRT movie, because this is not a movie I would ever be like, yeah, let's put this on.
No, and we've tried that before with other A24 movies, like the what was it, the Nicolas Cage one, where he started appearing in everyone's dreams.
Yeah. What was the name of that movie? You remember, Carl?
I can't remember.
I can't either. Oh, you didn't see it?
I didn't see that.
No, we watched it. It was bleh. There were parts of it that I really liked, and at times I really wanted to enjoy it more than I was, which
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a disappointment. It made it more disappointing because I had really looked forward to it, because it looked like such a neat idea, an interesting concept. But it's one of those movies where it's like this didn't need to be a feature film. It could have been a short film or a short story and done the same thing in a better way.
If I recall, it ended up being really full of itself.
It did, and it didn't have a proper ending, or not a satisfying one anyway.
I don't even remember, so I believe you.
I don't know. They started going into all this where, you could put on this bracelet and then,
yeah, that's right. That's stupid.
Try to get it just felt contrived.
Yeah. It's like, what are we doing now?
Kind of silly.
Stop it. So.
But anyway, I don't know. I don't really have much else
Well, let's go watch it,
say.
because we got to settle in. It's quite the lengthy film.
Yep.
So, Carl, what do we have for dinner?
Meat and rice.
Oh, my God. Fucking kill you.
It was a delicious, looks like slow-cooked roast of some kind.
It was barbacoa.
There you go.
Chipotle. It was fake Chipotle.
With all the accoutrements, you had rice, you had avocado, onions, cilantro,
beans, cheese. Yeah, it was good. And limes.
Yeah.
Meat and
delicious.
rice. That's all you're getting next week. It's meat and rice.
You know what I got at the supermarket the other day? Manchego cheese.
Oh, Manchego's excellent. Did you like it?
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Did you melt it on anything?
Not yet.
Melt it, it's weird.
Is
it's
it?
good. It is good, though. Yeah.
Why is it weird when it melts?
I don't know. It's just has a little bit different consistency. It's got a very nutty flavor, I think, Manchego. I like it a lot.
Interesting.
It is. It's good. We've had it. You've had it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go watch Beau Is Afraid. Let's go on this journey.
All right.
Okay.
Let's do it. All right. We're back.
Are we back?
We are back.
I'm not even sure what's real.
From Beau Is Afraid.
He's afraid the whole time.
Very afraid.
Well, what'd you guys think?
I can't believe that 3 hours of my life have been taken away from me.
Yeah, but it felt like 4.
It felt like 10.
Okay.
It did feel like a long time.
It was a journey.
Yeah, both. What did we say before? I can't. I feel like my brain has been like degaussed.
Melted, degaussed. A literal and figurative journey.
Yeah, thanks. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, a literal and a figurative journey.
You did. You know what? You nailed it. That is accurate.
Nailed what?
The movie nailed it. It's a literal and figurative journey.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends.
Oh no. We have only just begun.
I can't wait for you to try to recap this.
So, all right. For those of you that do watch the movie with us, or while you're listening to the episode, first of all,
apologies.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Carve out enough time. You might want to break it up.
All right. Regardless of what it feels like, the runtime's the same for everybody. And a 3-hour movie is not a big deal. But
if it's not a good movie,
it depends on the content.
Yeah.
And this movie, despite me reading some reviews and reading some details about it, and like I said, seeing the trailer several times, I feel like I was bamboozled.
Do you? Do you really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I do. Because this is not what I expected at all. There were elements of it that I did enjoy. There were some parts that were okay, and I thought were interesting, but that probably accounted for maybe 20 to 30 minutes of the entire film. The rest of it was... I don't even know how to describe it.
This movie, watching this movie, and I said this already, is like anxiety nightmare throughout the whole movie.
Which you could argue is the point of it.
It is the point of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely it is, yeah.
Was
it successful then, if that's how you felt?
Sure. Yes. I guess, if that was the director's intent. But I hated it. And I never want to see it again. So what does that say? Like, I didn't enjoy it. I think I understood what the director was trying to say.
Okay. Well, since you volunteered by saying that, what is your understanding of what the director was trying to say? What is this movie about?
Oh.
Because I'm not going to do a plot summary. I mean, I have a small little table here that goes through it, and I will, read through it. But before we do that,
I think this movie is trying to convey, in a Lynchian way, but falls short, feelings more than a plot. Mm-hmm. I think that it's about... It literally, when I say anxiety nightmare, I believe that's what the director, that's what I got out of it. It's like, wow, this is like a waking dream that is constantly bad and constantly filled with different kinds of stress and anxiety. And I think Beau, the character who is afraid because his mother made him that way. The end of story. There's a lot of family trauma, and his mom's all fucked up, and it makes him that way, and he has a lot of guilt and fear and uncertainty, and it just manifests throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. That's it.
I mean, that's what happens, but is that what it's about?
Well, what else is it about? What do you think it's about?
I'm asking you.
No, that's what I think it's about.
I want your opinion. You get very hostile when someone picks a movie that you don't enjoy.
No, this movie... angers me.
Yeah, I know, but you get angry at the wrong people. Write a letter to A24.
I am going to write a strongly worded
Ari
letter.
Aster.
Be like, what are you doing?
But not me. I just picked it. We bought the ticket. We took the ride.
You asked me what I thought this movie was about. That's what I think it's about.
Okay, Carl?
I agree with everything that Rachel said.
Yep.
This, and you've said this before, it's hard to put into words or form an opinion on something that you literally just watched. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, even when it's an easy film.
This is, I did not dislike it as much as you two did.
Okay.
I definitely think it was over, like it didn't need to be 3 hours.
No.
It lost me a bit in the middle. I think it was creative throughout in terms of some of the set pieces.
Sure.
Visually, it's stunning.
There's some cool things going on. My interest peaked more in the back, like toward the end.
Which, like...
When they start getting into, well, what might have really happened to his father, and then, the twist at the end with his mother. Mm-hmm. That kind of pulled me back in. Mm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's because that was more literal things happening. Like it felt less fantastical at that point, where it's like, oh, there's like a little mystery thing going on here.
Or even though it maybe might have been still fantastical at that point, it was telling, like, there was a narrative there.
Right.
There was a story, something that they were trying to tell us about the character, as opposed to just this experiential thing.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's what it was.
Well, and I wonder, Rachel, because we've talked about the fact that you like a narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably, I would imagine, is another reason why you felt the way you did in terms of hating it.
I feel like this movie should have a narrative, though. You can have all the other stuff, but still try to tell a cohesive story.
I think this movie gets lost.
Yeah.
It meanders around. I think it seems like the director is trying to, like, tell you things and show you things and has all these ideas in his head. And I think some of them translated to me, but the movie is so long and convoluted that a lot of it gets lost.
It feels like a director's cut, like an unedited experiment.
Yeah, I want to put it all in there. It's like, don't.
It's like Forrest Gump on acid, where he's just like walking through the world, encountering various people and situations, but everything has this filter over it. And I don't know whether he's trying to show anxiety in a way that hasn't really been shown before. Like,
yes,
but
yeah. I mean, he nails anxiety. He does a good job with that.
Really briefly, so the movie is about this character, Beau Wasserman.
Mm-hmm.
And he lives in an apartment in some city.
Danger City.
And everything around him is portrayed as extremely dangerous.
Hostile.
Everything's hostile. Like, everyone's out to get him.
There's a corpse in the middle of the road.
All kinds of bad things are happening.
Completely over the top ridiculous.
Yeah.
And immediately, you're going to think there's something off. This obviously isn't real.
I told
places like this.
This is being portrayed in his head.
This is a little behind the scenes talk. We had discussed either last week. Was it last week?
Prior.
That hey, if we want to keep these episodes tighter, maybe we should consider taking notes during the movies, because we hadn't done that. And so this was I had my phone, I had my notes out, and I'm like, okay. This is gonna be my first time writing notes.
Good for you.
This is the wrong movie to choose to do that.
Yeah.
But I literally had one note. Is his neighborhood really that bad? Because as somebody who deals with anxiety, and Matt and Rachel can attest to this, why would you live there? You would never pick that place to live if you had anxiety. That's like the worst place you could possibly pick. So as soon as you kind of realize he is seeing this neighborhood through that lens of anxiety, and everything is exaggerated, it's like, well, now you can't believe anything you see, because he's seeing all of this, like the whole movie he's seeing through that lens.
Yeah, and my theory is that nothing in this movie is real. Nothing is real. It's all from his subconscious.
I think it's a mix.
Okay.
So I mean, on that note, so again, I have this little plot summary table here, which breaks the film down into 6, let's call them chapters. Mm-hmm. Okay. And each chapter has a bullet point, and then there's another point about how that part relates to the journey aspect.
Oh.
And then also how that part deals with the unlikely hero traits of this character. Okay. So I did not write this, although I guided AI to, have all this information in there into a trait. So I feel like instead of doing our traditional summary, that doing this way on a higher level will work for this film. Whereas if I try to explain it's just not going to work.
No.
So, right where we were just talking about is the introduction to Beau's world. Okay, so the movie starts and we meet Beau Wasserman. He's
born.
Yes, he's literally born. We see it from his perspective coming out of the womb. But again, I don't want to
I understand.
So anyway, he's an anxious loner and he lives in this chaotic, crime-ridden city. He's making plans to visit his mother, Mona. But his fears and therapy sessions highlight this fragile mental state that he's in or has come to have. And a sudden call about Mona's death sets him on a quest to attend her funeral. So initially he's going out to meet her just to visit. Some things happen.
For the anniversary of the dad's death.
And he can't,
Yeah.
And then he discovers through a phone call that she's dead because a chandelier dropped on her head and
smashed her head,
crushed her head. So the journey aspect of this is that it establishes his psychological starting point, launching his literal journey home. We have his paranoia foreshadowing this figurative journey into his psyche, right? So we're setting up this physical journey, we're setting up how he is emotionally, and we're off, so to speak. And this unlikely hero aspect, we have this. He's very passive. He's riddled with anxiety, and he's dependent on medication. So right away, he's being portrayed as this a non-hero, a very ordinary figure who is completely overwhelmed by everything around him, his environment. Which leads us into this urban chaos and departure. Okay? So Beau's attempt to leave is thwarted by all these surreal obstacles where his apartment's invaded. Like he sticks a phone book in the door to leave it open because someone stole his keys, and all of a sudden, like everything bad in the neighborhood just starts running into his building and invades his apartment. He's attacked, and bizarre events delay him. He's injured and hospitalized, beginning his odyssey under duress.
He's involved in a naked knife fight with another naked man and then gets hit by a car.
I think he gets hit first and then stabbed.
Yes.
Oh, that's
He was on the
you
ground.
know what? My apologies. You are correct.
Yeah. The order's real
important.
Real
it is important. Okay.
It's really not. So yeah, that happens.
Yep.
He gets hit by these people in a delivery truck, it looks like. And then what was it? The birthday boy stabber or something?
Something like birthday suit stabber or birthday boy. I don't know. But he would stab people naked.
Yes. So this is the start of the physical journey. It starts chaotically, and which is, kind of putting a mirror to his inner turmoil, so to speak. And the city's absurdity sets the tone for a long, disorienting quest.
I do feel like with each event, it kind of repeats the being born motif. I don't know if you noticed it, but like
he passes out.
There were numerous scenes where like his eyes are opening or somebody's uncovering his eyes. Like it just seemed like that the initial scene where he was being born gets repeated throughout the movie at various points.
Every chapter begins with him awakening. He has an awakening, right? He awakens when he's born. He awakens after he gets hit by the van. He awakens after he gets knocked out in the forest. So that keeps happening.
Yeah, it does.
Again, these are things I need to sit with and think about.
Absolutely. No. I think you're right. It is punctuated through these rebirths, so to speak. So what we're learning about him here in terms of the unlikely hero is he's very cowardly, and his inability to control himself or anything around him emphasizes the anti-hero aspect, and he is reacting rather than acting. So he gets hit and stabbed, and he is taken in by this seemingly kind suburban couple. But their hospitality turns controlling and menacing. He's trapped in their home, grappling with their strange daughter and his own guilt about Mona. Yeah. So he's feeling real guilty about his mother's death, about how he never got to get there beforehand and whatever. And these people are helping him. Like, instead of waking up in a hospital, he wakes up in this girl's bedroom. But it has all the accoutrements of like a hospital room. Right? You have like a call button and
IV pole.
He's got an IV. Yeah. And Holly from The Office.
Yes, Holly's there.
I don't know the actress's name.
Forget.
But she's there. She's the wife. And she seems concerned about him and keeps trying to pass him clues or signs that something isn't right. Right?
It seemed like it.
Like she tells him to turn to a certain channel on the TV.
Or stop incriminating yourself. She wrote on a napkin. It was at that point that I'm like, all right, there's something else going on. Like,
yeah. I mean,
it was weird.
Sure. They're yep.
I mean, the whole movie is weird, but that specifically, I'm just trying to figure out what.
Not only that, when he does turn to that channel and sees that he's being watched on camera, he's able to not only pause and rewind that footage and see what they've been recording, but he's also able to fast forward
into the future,
and see what's going on, which I still don't have a grasp on what that was trying to get across. Like this is. I don't know.
Well, they also,
I don't know, like a life in review, or I don't know.
They also put an ankle bracelet on him.
They do, a tracking device.
And because the husband, they say he's a surgeon. I don't know that I'm convinced that he's a surgeon. But I think he says at the time it's so they could track his vitals, but they end up, it's like an ankle monitor.
Again,
it's a tracking device.
I don't think any of these people are real. I think these are all manifestations that he has. I think he's dreaming.
I don't buy that.
Where is he? Like, where would he be?
Exactly. He's not asleep. This isn't like, it was all a dream kind of a thing.
Oh, I think it's all in his subconscious. Some things could arise from his life, but I did not take this movie literally at all.
No, not literally, but
no.
But literally, where is he? See, I don't think he's asleep in his bed and is having these panic nightmares about things. I think he's literally someplace. But it's almost like he's a schizophrenic, where they're being placed in a normal environment, but their perception of that is totally different than everyone else's who doesn't have schizophrenia, who's in the room. They're taking this information in and processing it differently and having these kind of paranoid delusions about things. But he is somewhere, and I don't think that's asleep in a bed.
I think this is all in his subconscious.
All right. So he is being held captive by this couple. There's some like army veteran thing. The daughter's some weird strung out drug addict. But they're aware that she's taking all these pills, and their son is deceased. He was a war hero, and I forget where they said he died, but it didn't make sense to me at all. So. This is seen as a detour in the literal journey. The segment that we're talking about deepens the psychological journey as Beau confronts familial dynamics and suppressed emotions.
Okay.
I guess this is the part of the film where everything started to stall out and bore the shit out of me. It's like, oh my God, we're still here. We're still doing this. And it's like an hour long, that part. And you're not really sure, or I wasn't really sure, where it was going. And again, the anti-hero traits, he's a victim of circumstances. He's not doing anything to help himself. His passivity is showing through, and he kind of allows this family to steer him and do whatever. And he doesn't.
He's also helpless. He's injured, and
yeah, he is. But eventually he escapes. And this is the Forest Theater Troupe chapter.
Now, not before they have a mentally unstable veteran living with them that they send after him. So he is a persistent threat.
Yes.
Well, right.
Throughout the rest of the movie.
Because he just escaped.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, there's a lot of detail that's being left out, but I didn't think it was terribly important.
Forest Theater.
So he escapes this house, and he stumbles through the woods, and he keeps seeing this person And eventually he comes across this theatrical group that's staging a play that mirrors his life. So it's like this Renaissance fair looking place. At night.
In the middle of the woods.
In the middle of the woods. And they're putting on this play, and he connects with it. And actually, this is the part that I thought was compelling. I mean, he sits down among these people. They offer him a costume, like they kind of want to blur the line between the audience and the participants.
And then the play becomes about him.
Yes, and he's literally in it.
Yeah.
But it's not about him, though. I mean, it starts off about him in terms of there's a mother and father that are dead, but then it morphs into the story of the man and his 3 sons, and
he loses them.
They're separated in a storm,
but it's themes about fathers and sons being apart, which echoes the theme of his own life
and his desires, potentially. I don't think it's mirroring. Again, reality is a hard word to use in this movie, but I don't think the play's directly mirroring his reality. I think it's some sort of weird combination of his thoughts and feelings and fears.
Here's where the movie falls short again, because I think there's a lot to think about and pick apart there.
Sure.
But I had lost focus. Like, the movie is so long at that point that by the time you get there, I don't know. It was like movie fatigue. It's okay.
It's like 2 hours in at that point.
It's like, now I got to pay attention to this.
Yeah, it was a little less than halfway when we got to that point. And, no, it was a little...
It was more than halfway.
It was about halfway. Because when I stopped, I thought we were halfway, and it was only an hour and 20-something minutes in.
I did notice, and I don't know what the importance, or if there even is any importance, but did you notice there was somebody else in the audience? Because the whole time I'm like,
there were a lot of other people in the audience.
What do you mean?
It made it seem like it was like the people of the forest were also the audience. But there was one guy in a suit that was asking them, "Why am I here? What is this?"
Yeah, I do remember that.
He was the only one that seemed like he wasn't part of that group outside of Beau. And it was just...
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know where he came... I think there are a lot of little parts like that in this movie. I mean, that one sticks out. But...
And I don't know whether things like that are meant to make you question, well, is this really... what's really happening versus what isn't?
Yeah. Yes, I think so. The play, it goes through this surreal, dreamlike sequence. He imagines this other alternate existence reflecting on his choices and identity. So it's almost like, what happened, but then who am I? What do I want? How would things play out?
The play itself was cool. I liked the mixture, the mixed media, there was animation in there, and it was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And there was a good little narrative throughout there. So this is a pivotal figurative journey. It blends reality and fantasy, and it pushes Beau towards his own self-discovery about past and desires. And looking more into his character, we see that his emotional fragility and this introspection. It just underscores his ordinariness. He's a passive observer of his own story. He's literally watching it play out in front of him without acting. So finally, after many other things, Beau reaches his mother's home, where revelations about her life and their relationship unfold. We have flashbacks and visions exposing the extent of her control over him, forcing him to confront his guilt and fears. So very much this mother complex thing. And she and he did not have the best relationship.
No,
right?
She's like a psycho. She's a terrible mother. But she gaslights him into believing that he's a terrible son. Mm-hmm. But you as the viewer, after sitting through the whole movie, can kind of parse out who's who and what's what and who's the real problem here.
Yeah.
And then you go into the attic. and all is revealed.
Well, yeah, I mean, first thing that's revealed is she's not dead.
She's not dead. Surprise.
She faked her death. She paid off her housekeeper to pretend that she was dead.
Yeah. Yeah, she paid off her housekeeper to die.
Yep.
And was it because that was the only way she felt like Beau would come visit her?
Yeah, I mean, I think she says it, where it's kind of a test.
Yeah.
To see, because he wouldn't come otherwise, and she wanted to know.
He always made excuses.
And, she now knows everything. And all kinds of weird shit comes up. Like, we find out that the therapy sessions have all been recorded, and she's been listening to every single one of them. And
right, like she
therapist
employs
works
the therapist. Yeah.
At one point, didn't she say something like you're making excuses, or you're there in your fake apartment? Like at one point she says something like your fake apartment.
But
and I'm like, well, where has he been living? Is he not actually in that apartment? Or
if you noticed in the mother's house when he was going through that kind of, it looked like a little museum about her life and
magazine covers,
the businesses
and ads, and
there's a moment where he's standing in front of a poster and it's the front of his apartment. Because it has that sex shop that's there, like the porn theater thing. And it, I forget the name of it, but it has the name of the apartments, and it's almost like they're buying out these old dilapidated, properties, and, it's like gentrification.
Yep.
Of that, or, revitalization.
But does he, in his subconscious, think he lives in that apartment because he actually lives in his mother's house, which she said. She's like, you live in this house. And because he sees that picture all the time, and because there was a head imprint on the couch, and he said prior, I like to sleep on the couch when he was in that other couple's room. Again, it just all feels very dreamlike, and you cannot take anything literally.
That's true. But then why would she be angry at him for not visiting if he lives there?
Who fucking knows? Maybe he's not, present. I don't know. Again, I think it's all very dreamlike.
But you're right. The movie makes you ask questions like that. Yeah. And anything could be valid as an answer there.
Yeah.
So this is the end of his literal journey. He's now finally where he wanted to be.
With his mom.
But this is also the peak of his psychological journey, because he's still grappling with his mother's legacy and his own identity. Mm-hmm. He had questions about his father, who he never met, who the mother claimed that he died at the instant of conception.
Right. And told the son the same thing. Your father passed this down to you, so look at, basically, don't ever be intimate with anybody. Another way that the mother could control him. Yeah. And he never was.
And it was kind of funny because, we're leaving out a lot again.
Yeah.
But there's a scene, he comes back, and there was this girl that he kind of fell in love with when he was young, and she said to wait for him, and he did. He literally did, but he was also terrified of being with anybody.
Because he didn't want to die.
Because he thought he was going to die if he had sex with anybody. So he sees this woman, and he sees her earlier on in the film on television being interviewed about his mother's death. And he sees her again in person at his mother's house when he goes back. And they have a conversation, and ultimately they have sex, and he is terrified. He thought he was going to die, but he went ahead and
he's like, I'm doing it.
And did it anyway.
Yeah.
He ends up killing her.
If she dies.
She dies of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Or something.
She dies of something.
Or brain aneurysm or something.
Well, but she's literally frozen in place.
Which is unrealistic.
Almost like a Medusa, right? Like a basilisk.
Or
the people of Pompeii that just died in the positions they were in when the volcano hit.
When the volcano erupted.
Yes.
So to speak. Yeah. Well, because she comments on that. Anyway. Yeah, it was really weird. So he is completely collapsing emotionally at this point. He can't overcome his flaws. He is allowing his domineering mother to literally come back from the dead and run his life. And we're learning about what he experienced as he grew up. and the real relationship that they had. Because throughout the film, we're seeing these little glimpses, and the mother is always being portrayed as this very loving, doting kind of figure, but then
you can always tell there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Even from the birth, when she's like screaming and freaking out, and why isn't he crying? And is he okay? It's like, whoa. Yeah. And then when he calls her, and all you hear is her voice on the phone, and he's like,
yeah.
I can't make it. My keys are gone. And she's like, oh, you can't make it? Well, where are your priorities? She's
right.
being a bitch. Like, you can tell right away. She's like, this is a terrible mother.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's very passive-aggressive until she's active-aggressive.
Yes, aggressive.
Which leads us to, finally, the climactic resolution.
Yes.
In a surreal, trial-like confrontation.
Wait.
You cannot leave out the penis monster in the attic.
Look, I didn't want to talk about the penis monster.
Well, you have
leave
to.
Out the penis
we
monster.
had to see it.
There was some.
You have to talk about it.
I will join in, but since you guys wanted to talk about it so bad, please grace our listeners with the giant cock and balls in the attic.
So throughout the movie, with his therapist as the initial description of a dream, he keeps having a recurring dream in a bathroom where his mom's grabbing his arm, and eventually you start realizing, wait a minute, it seems like there's two separate people here.
Yeah, there's two kids.
Because as you see the rest of the dream, she brings one of the kids up into the attic and closes him up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then toward the end of the movie, the mother says, okay, you want to know the truth? Let's go into the attic. And so she has him go up into the attic.
Mm-hmm.
And up in the attic is his twin brother, quote unquote, who was I think they established he was the strong one. He was the rebellious one. He was the heroic.
And I don't think that's
the two.
I don't think that's a literal brother.
No,
I think that,
Not
right?
at all.
That's all his self-confidence and everything.
That's
locked
the version
away.
of him that she locked away.
She locked
Withering away in the attic.
Yes.
And his quote-unquote father is also in the attic, and his father's a giant penis monster.
Yeah.
Literally a giant with these like it was like a mixture of a penis and one of the aliens from Starship Troopers. It has
With
like
the
the pinchers,
pointy,
like
yeah.
the weenie legs.
It did, yeah.
And it had a face.
And it did have a face and the head, where a face would be in a penis monster. And Jeeves, the mentally damaged veteran, catches up with Beau at this point and breaks into the attic.
Yep.
And he runs at the penis monster and starts stabbing it in the balls.
Yep.
And you're watching this.
Until the penis monster kills him.
Impales him right in the top of his head with one of its like penis pincher.
Yeah. And kills
things. And kills him.
Yep.
And then the therapist eventually frees Beau from the attic.
Beau frees himself from the attic.
He does.
Well,
Yeah.
no, the door opens. Somebody had to open the door.
Oh, somebody opened the door.
The therapist opened the door.
I see. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, you're right.
Because then he dragged him out.
That's true. He'd had enough.
But there is a giant penis monster.
Fell down the ladder.
Yeah,
Right,
but then
but
the
somebody
therapist
had to open the door.
The therapist was at the bottom of the stairs because
And
he
dragged
grabbed
him
him
away.
as soon as he landed and dragged him away.
It's true.
All right,
true.
I believe you.
And then we have what echoes the wall of a trial.
Completely.
Well, then Beau kills his mother. Beau strangles his mother.
I'm so sorry. You're right.
He does.
He's had enough.
She's like, ranting and raving at him, and he finally just grabs her by the neck and
kind of crushes her windpipe.
Yeah.
And then is like, oh shit, I'm sorry, but it's too late.
Yeah, he realizes what he's doing. He lets go, but she's
gone
at this point. And then she actually dies.
Yep.
And then he gets in a boat.
So
and has a trial.
He is like in this state of shock, and he's
always in a state
walking
of
out,
shock.
and he is, and he walks down to this little beach that's by the house, and he gets in a boat, and he goes towards this rock formation. There's this big cave, and he goes in there, and it's like this stadium where he is. It's almost like a gladiator scenario.
He was in Gladiator.
I know he was.
Oh.
It was like a gladiator situation again.
Yes.
Where, he's on display or being put on trial.
Yeah.
And you have all of these people who you can only assume are all the people that were in his life in some way, shape, or form. And then there are these like terraces where the prosecution and defense are. And it's the mom and her attorney or whatever.
Yep.
And it's right out of Defending Your Life.
It really is. I mean, they have this, the screens that drop and they're showing
specific days in his life.
Yeah.
It really echoed Defending Your Life a lot.
Yeah.
Like a copy paste to a certain degree.
Yes. On your 15th birthday on the 210th day.
Yeah.
You did this.
Right. And they have video.
This happened. Yeah.
And this is why it was wrong. And the defense is like, but no, he was worried.
But it plays out just like the trial in The Wall.
Yeah. Oh, I'm like, this is The Wall now.
Yeah. Because literally mother's there. And,
exactly.
So he does. He faces judgment for his perceived failures. And the outcome reflects his transformation, though it's tragic and ambiguous, leaving him altered but not empowered. Yeah.
He kind of, I don't know whether he gives up or if he just accepts that, okay,
the boat explodes. The boat engine gives out.
Well, the engine gives out, and it catches fire, and he can't move.
Right, his feet are stuck.
And it does. The boat flips over, and he drowns.
Yeah, because you see him struggle, like you see the boat rocking, like he's struggling.
And then it stops.
And then it just stops.
In the meantime, everyone's leaving. Everyone who's in the stands, you can see them. You can see them leaving, and so our journey has ended with a painful self-discovery, fulfilling the theme through existential reckoning rather than triumph. So that's always fun. And Beau's defeat by his psyche and circumstances reinforces his non-traditional tragic hero role.
He's not a hero.
He's not a hero.
Not at all.
No.
So
He's not. He is an anti-hero, but not. See, he's not even an anti-hero. He's just a device around which or through which the story's told.
He doesn't grow. He doesn't change. He doesn't. Well, he does learn a little bit about his mother.
He does grow, and there is some self-discovery there.
He has sex.
But he still fails. He still fails. He still succumbs to it. He can't.
He drowns in it.
He does.
He does.
Literally.
Yep.
Or figuratively. Or both.
It's both.
Who knows? Yeah. So that's Beau Is Afraid.
I will say it was very well acted. Like Joaquin Phoenix does a really good job with what he's given.
He's a great actor.
He is. I'm a big fan of Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've never seen Joker, go watch it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But
Plus his other films. But
he's just anxiety personified. Like that's his whole.
Well,
it really is.
I mean, he is, paranoid and anxious and guilt-ridden and. There's all of these things, and they play out. This is going to sound silly. I cannot stand. There's a certain amount of yelling and crying and shouting that I can handle in movies, and this hit my limit.
This hit the limit like immediately.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. Like immediately, right from the beginning, but especially when the daughter of that suburban family's chugging paint.
Yes.
Or right before that. And she's just screaming and yelling. I'm like, oh my God, this has to stop. Yes. I can't take it anymore. But yeah, I overall did not like this movie. I think it was overly long, a bit self-indulgent. It needed refining. Mm-hmm. I still think it tells an interesting story. There are things to discuss and think about, and certain bits will stick with me. But overall, no.
This movie, couldn't see no, that's not the right adjective. That's not the right analogy.
Be the whole forest.
Yeah. Yes. It's like, hone it in. Mm-hmm. You've got a good story. You've got interesting characters. You have an interesting concept.
You have a neat idea.
Right. But you're like, and I knew what he was like. I understand. I get the message, but I wasn't enjoying it. And okay, maybe you don't enjoy Anxiety Nightmare, but it would lose my interest. And that's bad because it was so long and meandering, and there were parts that were so slow. And then there was a lot of yelling and crying, which, yep, I understand that's part of the manifestation, the emotion, but you can't keep doing it for 3 hours.
No.
I will tune out. I will shut off. I don't care how visually stunning it is. You can't keep doing that.
Yeah. Certain segments certainly needed to be shortened because you're trailing off or fading, you're losing interest, and then all of a sudden you might come upon something interesting, but you're less willing to like invest in it, right? Because it's like, oh fuck, what
are we doing now? Yeah, where is it going? So that was very frustrating to me.
Yeah.
But
same as me.
How was the Haxton cloak, Matt?
Yeah.
Well,
you identified it.
Him. Oh, certainly. Oh my God. So if you have any sort of decent sound system when you're watching this, be careful when it comes to the forest scene, because there's that Haxton cloak rumbly bass that comes through. And
it'll give your subwoofer a workout.
It'll give your subwoofer a workout, and if you have windows in the room you're watching it, it will shake them,
rattle.
Literally. But yeah, the score. I am gonna go check out the score on Spotify at some point and see.
Bread was in this.
What it is out of well, that's the soundtrack.
I know.
And Mariah Carey is featured prominently.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
It's true. Oh my God.
Rachel, what would you rate this?
This gets 2 out of 5 anxiety nightmares.
Wow,
that's
higher.
Generous.
That's higher than I thought. Yeah.
I thought you were going to go negative.
No. I mean, I think this movie has some merit, but it has more minuses than pluses. For sure. Like, I did go into this movie, I saw the trailers and I was not interested, but I'm like, all right, let's go for it. But it's too long. It's too meandering. It's too slow. It's all the things that I said. And it's really like, it's heavy-handed with the anxiety. And as somebody who has anxiety sometimes, it's like, all right, you know what? I got it. Thank you. I don't need any more.
Yeah.
So 2 out of 5 anxiety nightmares. I would not recommend it to anybody's mom. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. It's not a movie I would recommend.
I'd give it 2.5 streeps.
Oh, okay. Feel neutral about it? I thought you liked it.
I need to sit on it.
Okay,
I
so
need
that
to think. It's a guarded 2.5.
Okay, that number may change.
It may change the more I sit and think about it.
Sure.
Before you pay to watch this anywhere, because we were all set, or I was all set to rent it on Prime, which is where you can watch it if you have HBO Max. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're back to HBO Max now.
Yes, we should be.
Imagine that.
Right?
Yeah. Who would have thunk?
Right?
Dropping
HBO Max.
Was a stupid idea.
It was dumb.
But it's on HBO Max.
Okay.
If you happen to subscribe to that service,
all right,
you can watch it if you choose.
Oh, I gotta spin the wheel.
But yeah. Oof. Okay, ready? You ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Ready, go. Spin.
Okay. My shakeup must be a cult classic. The film should be a cult classic, a film that has developed a dedicated fan base despite initially underperforming or not being widely appreciated. So, people that go on a long journey and a cult classic. Okay. All right.
Well, that's enough of that. Thank you all for listening. And don't be afraid, like Beau.
No, don't do it. Don't.
Or don't even watch Beau. Or
you could also not. No.
If you do watch this movie, let us know. Like, write us something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please, I'm interested to see what the
Jared
rest
will
of the
watch
world.
Jared's gonna watch it.
Oh, Jared's already seen this.
Oh, he has?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jared, I anxiously await your opinion. I really do.
How do you know that already?
Because he told me he watched it like randomly. I don't remember what we were talking about, but it was one of those. Did you ever see Beau Is Afraid?
Yeah.
And I said, no, not yet. Oh man.
There you go.
So.
Okay. All right.
He'll get to watch it again if he really wants to.
No, don't do it.
Please don't.
Don't.
You've one and done.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Anyway, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.